Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us for September 19th Traffic Commission. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. All right. Let's start off tonight with our public hearings. Amend Schedule 9 of Title 10, Resident Parking Streets, 24-hour enforcement. Councilor McKenna would like to have the remaining upper half of Endicott Ave to have 24 hours, 7 days a week permanent parking. The lower half of Endicott has already been completed. Is there any who would like to speak on the matter? Proponents?
Joanne McKenna, 830 Winthrop Avenue. I'm up here because I've been hearing from the residents for the last couple of years that they can't park in front of their houses because I don't know if you know Endicott Ave, but we have this, there's no cars, there's no houses, so people go up there and they stop and they eat and they drink and they look at the water, and it's inundating the quality of life of these residents. Residents come home, they have groceries, they can't park because people are there. From 0 to 72, Endicott Ave is permit parking, and I would just like to make the rest of the street permit parking. It's only one-sided parking, so you can't park on the other side. And it's also a bus route, so when people are parking on that side of the street where it's no parking and they're watching the waves or they're watching the seals or whatever they're watching, it's tough for the buses to get down there too. So I just want to make it 24/7, and I do have people here, residents, to speak, if you will allow it.
Of course.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening, Anthony Zambuto, 87 High Street. I'm here to rise in favor of Council McKenna's proposal. I've heard from lots of neighbors, and I've been up there to check it out myself, and I see what goes on. And we know what goes on. We're trying to be polite, but this is really necessary, and I hope you'll approve it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Beth de Blasi. Grew up 237 Endicott Ave. This is a prime location of concern. We don't have off-street parking, and the area is very inviting for people to come, loiter, linger, and it's difficult for the residents because we can't make calls until after midnight. And we like to just go to sleep and enjoy the peace.
Okay.
And have available parking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else? Oh.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jenny Colangelo. I live at 261 Endicott Ave in Beachmont. And it's been quite a problem. I grew up in the house, and I've been back there for the past 25 years. I live exactly, my door faces the park. I live upstairs, my nephew lives downstairs. And I'm carrying bundles, and there's nowhere to park. People go to the beach, they park their car there, and they take off with their beach chairs, so, down the beach. I've seen people park their car and get on the bus. I mean, it's not fair for us, and I'm trying to look for a parking space, and there's nowhere. So it's been a problem. We're taking pictures. We're like detectives. It's awful. But we're doing everything we can. And then a lot of the single-family homes, what they're doing is they're making them condos or condos. Now they're getting more people, and then they invite their friends, and their friends have cars, and it's the summer, and they want to go to the beach. And we're stuck. They don't care. I mean, we have people that live all the way down the street at that apartment down there. We have one across the street. You know, they invite their friends, and it just eats up our parking, and it's not fair because we're homeowners, you know, and I know they pay rent, and I want to be fair to everybody. But I think that along with making Endicott a one-way street, because now we have Amazon going that way and the bus going that way, and that is the worst thing because kids are coming down with their motorcycles and their bikes, and I'm calling the Revere Police for these little kids that are coming down on these scooters right in the middle of the street. I don't want to see anybody get killed in the street like that. But that's it.
Okay.
I'm done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Zach, do you have a comment as well?
Zach Baba, Director of Parking, 300 Broadway.
Thank you,
I'm a
Zach.
proponent for this request, as most of the Beachmont community, with about a handful of streets, is already 24-hour residential. This roadway being questioned today, or being requested, is 1/3 24-hour residential, similar to what we did in Beachmont community over the past few years. Most of the streets, the beginning sections were 24-hour resident to eliminate transient-oriented abuse. But what happens is people realize I can park 300 feet further, escape a ticket, and still have the same luxury of walking to the train station and taking the train going to Boston. There's also been situations, I've spoke with some of the residents here today over the course of the past 2 years. We have been made aware there's been times where people visit their friends here, leave their car on the roadway, go to London for 10 days. The car sat there for 10 days. We found out why. Boatload of tickets was issued, but the problem is this area, the community can only get enforcement midnight to 6. They do need some more relief from the current abuse they're seeing. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. All right. Are there anyone else? Any opponents? Seeing none, thank you. Is there any motion from the council, either to approve or deny?
Make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to approve, is there a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All right, motion has passed. Item number 2, Counselor Garita Savoya requests to move the no parking signs located on Gilbert Ave from the even side number of the street to the odd side of the street. Do we have anyone that'd like to speak on that matter? No? Opponents, proponents, nope. Do we have any comments from the council?
Zach Baba, Director of Parking. I'm not a proponent or an opponent of this, but as it's kind of been a contentious issue over the past year or so, I do remember engineer Nick Rystrom stating that when a side of the street is decided to be no parking, there is some thought behind that, and it's usually due to the way the fire truck may enter that roadway. This roadway, the only way to enter it is either Mill Street, or if the Point of Pines fire truck is going to be coming to this neighborhood, they would be coming down North Shore Road, taking a right onto this roadway. If we reverse the no parking side, I'm not sure, maybe the chief can speak on this, but is he going to need that left-hand side of the road cleared to make sure that apparatus can make that swing, that right-handed turn from North Shore Road onto Gilbert Ave? I know during this past discussion that was mentioned by Nick Rystrom, and that was the reason why this side was decided as a no parking side. So I'm not an opponent or a proponent. I'm for whatever the traffic commission wishes. This is just a point that I thought I'd bring up.
Thank you. So this has already switched sides twice, so this would be the third time we're relocating this sign, just so everyone's aware. The north side is the odd side, correct? No, that's incorrect. The even side is the south side. I'm sorry.
If you turn off of North Shore Road, you take a right, then odd is on the right side. So that's what she wants to change.
Well, it doesn't seem like anyone wants to speak on the matter. Do you guys have any comments? Table it until someone decides to show up? Oh, is that so? Okay. Let's table it until the counselor can attend one of these meetings.
Okay, motion.
Motion to table?
Second.
Thank you. Tabled. Okay, item number 3, Councilor Cogliandro would like to have 2 crosswalks placed at the intersection of Cushman Ave and Adams Street. Crosswalks will be placed on Cushman Ave on both sides of Adams Street. This would allow for pedestrian safety while while school is in session. Yeah, one of them is close to the driveway. My only concern is that we do have a safe route to each school currently with ADA accessible ramps. This will be putting 2 crosswalks where there are no ADA compliant ramps. That's my major concern with this. It might lead to some confusion with students that need to use the correct way to both Lincoln and the other school there. Do we have anyone here to speak on this matter? Nope.
Mr.
Commission?
Chairman, just a point of information, there is crosswalk at both ends, so people that are walking to the Lincoln, they do have the ability to cross closer to Broadway.
In the Wayland as well?
At the Wayland, there is also a crosswalk at Newhall, so they do have the ability to cross there as well. And then I would just also echo that adding 2 crosswalks here would then actually be would be out of compliance because it would not be a ramp.
Okay,
To
thank
be able to
you.
get across.
All right, with that said, would you guys set up a motion on the floor?
Mr. Chairman, just in lieu of the comments that I just provided, I'll make a motion to deny.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Okay, motion is denied. Thank you. Item number 4, amend Schedule 5 of Title 10, one-way streets by adding the following. Linehurst, location Linehurst, direction west from Agatha to Route 1 North. I did receive a call from Cappy's that was unhappy with our current signage up there as well, just to make sure everyone's aware.
Good evening, Anthony Zambuto, 87 High Street. I'm here tonight representing, God rest her soul, Priscilla Nickerson, who championed this for the neighbors up there, the D'Amelios. They're away and they couldn't be here tonight, and they're certainly in favor of this, but she really went out of her way to help these people, and somehow it got lost that it was passed here, and we corrected that at the last meeting, and this is just the second part of it, and so I'm here to speak in favor of it. Hopefully, it will pass.
Okay.
And
Now-
I'll fight with Cappies if you want me to.
Do you have any concerns with the yard that they have down there with those large vehicles? I'm just,
The fact that it shouldn't be there, the yard, or what's, what do
it's,
you,
I
what are
believe
you
it's
asking me?
commercial use that's permitted. They have vehicles, otherwise those vehicles would have to run through the actual neighborhood itself instead of being able to come off Route 1 into that lot that they currently use. The tree company, I believe there's an auto body shop, and they store equipment there as well.
What's the other solution?
Just keep the do not enter at the top by Agatha. But if we make it one way from Route 1 to Agatha, Linehurst, then those vehicles won't be able to make it into that lot. They'll have to go through the entire neighborhood itself. Do you agree?
Okay, this is a situation I'm not quite familiar with. I'm gonna have to I'm going to have to educate myself by going
Okay.
up there and doing it, so perhaps we leave this on the table
Okay,
rather than deny it.
yeah. If you drive out behind Cappy's, take that first right, there's a large construction yard they have there, and they have tons of equipment that comes in and out. I'm just hesitant on directing that through the
Yeah,
neighborhood,
I don't
that's
want
all.
to, I wouldn't want to go through the,
Okay.
let me familiarize
Okay.
myself with it. So
Awesome.
I'd ask you to table it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, another piece of that, there is some concern that if you prohibit access there, that vehicles will just go further up to Robin Lane and come down Morris. So something to keep in mind, that some of that traffic is going to be now heavier in that location.
Okay, thank you. All right, item 4 is tabled. Is this a separate item, or is this item 5? Item 5, amend Schedule 6 of Title 10, Heavy Commercial Vehicles, Restricted Streets by adding the following. Location, so Linehurst Road, Agatha, Morris, Robbins Road, Bennett Street. Direction, both entire length, restricting heavy commercial vehicles. Do we have anyone to speak on this matter? Any proponents, any opponents?
Just a point of clarification, there's a few streets in this area that already follow this restriction. It was a request of the mayor's office, and what we did was just add the other streets that seem to be missing from this area. Lionhurst was the street in question that we wanted to try to make a do not enter for that way. Those roadways that Lionhurst connected to did not have the heavy commercial restricted streets, but Breeden's Lane seemed to have that, where Lionhurst is gonna run right into Breeden's Lane. So we didn't understand why Breeden's Lane was on that list, but the other streets were removed. So it's kind of they kind of go together, 4 and 5.
All right. Counselor Gino? Thank you.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Point of information for you, for as far as North Revere and the truck traffic. I believe only Liberty Avenue is the only street listed under no commercial vehicles that went through the proper process back about 20 years ago.
Okay.
In order to make the neighborhood no trucks, we have to make a vote before the traffic commission. Take the vote, give it to the mayor's office. After it's advertised out, public hearings, as we are doing right now. We vote on it, goes to the mayor's office. The mayor turns around, submits a request to Mass DOT, along with an alternate truck route.
Okay.
So what we're requesting here basically is getting the trucks, the heavy trucks out of North Revere. It's basically all hills up there. We have tractor trailer trucks from Cappy's cutting in and out of there. Going to Route 1. If they're coming down Salem Street in North Revere from Saugus, going up, they'll go up Grandview of Liberty and hit Linehurst or Robin and go back down to Route 1 and cut all the traffic out. It is possible to do it if we give Mass Highway an adequate truck route and tell them we want the trucks to go coming on Salem Street to pick up Route 1 at Route 1 on-ramp, not through the neighborhood.
Okay.
If they're going opposite direction, there's no reason to go Route 1 through the Saugus. They can go North Revere, they up on Route 1 and make Route 1 your truck route,
Okay. Thank you.
all right?
Thank you, Counselor. With that said, are there any opponents to this motion? Hearing and seeing none. All right.
Mr. Chairman, just a question. What is the threshold for heavy commercial vehicles?
I
Is that-
do not know off the top of my head. 3 ton? 30,000 ton?
We could set it at 3 tons, 30,000 tons. It depends on what the city wants. If you try to keep out your landscapers and small vehicles, 3 tons.
Okay.
If it's heavy commercial vehicles, it's your dump trucks, your box trucks, then you're going 33,000 and up. So we could put a sign up over there, no commercial vehicles over $33,000, that's your Class B trucks, and your trailers. The tractor trailers themselves, up to 80,000 pounds. So it's probably between, you want to be at least 30,000, 33,000 to keep out your commercial vehicles and allow your landscapers to go through, your oilmen to come through, and everyone else, the workers to go through. It
Okay.
depends on what you guys set it at.
All right, thank you very much, Counselor. All right, would you guys like to put a motion either to approve or deny this? We can tackle the situation with MassDOT.
Yeah, well, we should definitely
Look into this more and try to
Amend
find out
it.
an actual
put a limit on.
a weight limit, yeah.
Those streets up there are very substandard, so those larger trucks have to be eliminated from trespassing through through the neighborhood, so.
30,000
I have no
pounds.
quarrel with putting a 30,000-pound limit
Okay,
on it.
is there a second?
Second.
Second, passed. With the authorization from MassDOT if they approve the same, the 30,000 pound limit. So passed, contingent on MassDOT approval. All right. Item number 5, request to have traffic calming measures placed in front of the senior center located at 25 Winthrop Ave. Measures requested include a speed table and/or a traffic light. Anyone here to speak of this matter?
Commissioners, Deb DiGiulio,
Deb, thank you.
thank you. I would like, Laurie, if you would, could you give a packet to each of the, make sure the chief gets one? I am here on behalf of the seniors at the senior center. I have a packet of 20 letters here, and that's
Thank you.
just a few, and I'm going to read a couple. But I know you're all aware of the danger crossing Winthrop Ave in front of the senior center. Please read these letters. Please hear their pleas. Almost every one of the letters mentions how the senior escaped being hit by a car. More importantly, how they feared being killed that day. No one should be afraid to come to the senior center or cross the street. And I think you would all feel the same way if these were your parents. The first letter I just want to read is from Bob Hanlon. I wish he was here. We do have a number of seniors here in the audience. Bob wrote to Mayor Keefe, "Who would think that crossing a street would be a life-altering experience? Well, let me tell you a tale. 2 weeks ago, bright, shiny morning, I left the senior center to retrieve an article from my car parked in the city lot. I paused, checked for traffic, and took my first step when out of nowhere, a green four-door, literally flying down with their valve, came close to sending me to Woodlawn before my time. Before I could say a word, the driver gave me the famous one-finger salute and flew onto Broadway. This has got to stop. It could have been a young child chasing a friend or a ball. Please take the appropriate action," and that was from Bob Hanlon. I'm going to read another one that was, this has been going on forever, but this is September 8th. This was a Sunday. It wasn't even a day that we were at the senior center. These seniors were going on a day trip, and they were just going across the street to get on a bus. On September 8th, 2024, I was crossing Winthrop Ave. I was in the crosswalk, walking with my walker to cross the street where the tour bus was parked. All of a sudden, I spotted a car racing down Winthrop Ave. I was in the middle of the crosswalk. I'm blind in my right eye. I could just catch a glimpse of this car. My friend Nina, who was on the right side, guided me across the street. I could see the tour guide, Cheryl Toby, walking towards me, screaming for her to stop. This could have been a tragedy of 3 of us getting killed by this driver. She stopped an inch away from the crosswalk. 1 is a tragedy, but imagine 3 of us. Too bad no one got her license plate. Cheryl Toby, the tour guide, started to yell at the driver, and the driver just drove off. We need traffic lights on both sides of the crosswalk with a pole that has a stop button on it. This area is residential. Winthrop Ave is not a highway, not only for the safety of seniors, but also children and just people. It could have been anyone crossing. I thought I was going to die that day. Please don't wait for a tragedy to happen before something is done. She could have killed 3 of us, and it was just in a matter of a second. We need something done right away. Like I said, I could go through all 20 of these and read them. They're heartbreaking. They're heart-rending. We did see, we have the crosswalk there. They did put up flashing lights, which is great, but it does make a difference. It just doesn't. And I don't know the solution. I would love to work with you for a solution, but my seniors want a button to press to stop. At least they will stop. I thought maybe a speed bump might slow them down. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't want to interfere with police or fire with speed bumps. But they can't cross the street, and it's within a second. They are flying. You know, there's a stop sign at the top of Winthrop Ave, right at
Yep.
Beach Street. There's a light there, but they come through that and they fly to Broadway, and vice versa, off of Broadway. But there's more people to speak. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Got a line.
Good evening. Robert
evening.
Haas, 161 Fenley Street. I'm here to also speak in favor of traffic calming measures and speed calming measures along Winthrop Avenue. Back in February, Councilor McKenna and myself put a motion in for a digital speed radar along Winthrop Avenue. You know, based on the fact that at the top of the street you have a playground, you also have the Immaculate Conception School, you have the rec center. A lot of young parents are pushing strollers past that crosswalk. You know, they're crossing the street, young kids are crossing the street. And in front of the senior center, you have a lot of seniors walking from the municipal lot to get to the senior center. And the following month, I believe Councilor Sawaya and Councilor McKenna put another motion in that I jumped on 100%, and it was also for a digital speed radar, as well as possibly a speed hump along Winthrop Avenue. And you know, like Debbie said, I spent a lot of time the last 3 years at the senior center as the assistant director. I've been outside and I've had to, you know, myself walk out in the middle of the street, put my hand up so the seniors could cross along the crosswalk because someone was flying down the street. And, you know, it's definitely needed. It's definitely a safety issue. And I think anything that can be approved tonight, whether it be speed humps, digital speed radars, would be great for our seniors trying to get to the senior center, and as well as families trying to get to the playground, and, you know, residents overall just trying to cross the street. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor.
Councilor Joanne McKenna, 830 Winthrop Avenue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is my ward, and we could resolve 2 problems. We all know that people are driving too fast, okay, and it's everywhere, but we want to protect our seniors. We did put, there was Councilor Haas and Councilor Garino Sawaya and myself, we put in a couple of motions to keep the seniors safe. They have a flashing pedestrian light right now, and they have a crosswalk, which we put in, but it's not working. Okay, we need something that's going to resolve this problem. If we put a speed table, and I don't know, I mean, you can just, this is just an idea of mine, but if we could put a speed table maybe 50, 100 feet away from the pedestrian light and a crosswalk further up to Broadway or wherever, maybe both sides, maybe that would give time for these seniors to have the time to cross. It is a long stretch. I mean, if you go from the parking lot where the senior center is all the way to the central parking lot, Winthrop Ave goes in a, Winthrop Ave and Sprague Street goes in a triangle.
Yep.
So there's a long way to get to, if you don't cross the street to Winthrop Ave and then go around to Sprague Street and you just walk across Winthrop Ave and Sprague Street, that's a long stretch without any kind of safety. So we need to really come up with the plan, and just like her letter said, when she read the letter, let's do it before someone gets hurt or killed. So I don't know what, you guys are all experts. We have an engineer here, we've got Frank, we've got the fire department, we have, now the chief of the DPW. So you put your heads together and let's see what we can come up with to make it safe for these seniors. Because they're all sitting here and they're all concerned.
All right.
Thank you
Well,
very much.
I can say off the bat, the first thing we can do is I do have some of those speed radar signs that we can put up that tell the miles per hour and tell you if you're speeding. I am hesitant on the speed table because we did look at the area and it's a substantial undertaking to get the drainage to work properly with the speed table in that area. I'm sorry. Counselor, would you like to speak as well?
You can finish.
So I believe the best route would be to start with that, one of those speed signs coming towards Broadway, if you guys agree. If not. Traffic to stop.
So they can see, and I don't want to.
Let's let everyone continue speaking and we can have a discussion after.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Ira Novoselsky, 53 D Hone Street, down in Shirley Ave area, but I'm a city councilor in Ward 2. But I go up to the senior center 2-3 times a month, and see all the folks there. These are the people that are vulnerable, the ones that are in front of you right now. And signs don't do the job. Last year, during the summer, I asked for the digital sign machine, the speed machine, to go between Immaculate and the senior center to try and slow the people down. But what wasn't really mentioned is specific words. I know we're talking speed tables and speed bumps. Maybe this is a good location for a raised crosswalk, starting at the curb and going straight across. It's similar to a speed bump, as you want to call it, but at least they'll slow down while they're crossing the street. And put the proper signage, and also, I don't know if you know, on McClellan Highway in East Boston, right by where Toll Manufacturing used to be, at Addison Street, they have a push button for pedestrians to cross the highway. I know somebody got injured there actually killed there last year, but if they want to cross, they push the button, and all these yellow flashing lights in both directions are telling the traffic somebody wants to cross and to slow down and watch for them. Maybe that is something that we want to look at. And I know we can do all solar, we don't have to do any direct electricity, but something has to be done there. It is terrible, and we want to make sure that nobody gets hurt and everybody is safe. Thank you.
All right.
Good evening again.
Good evening, Counselor.
So, we know we've got a problem there. I like your idea with Ira's idea. I think we need to do both. We need some sort of a button system, flashing lights, so people are gonna actually stop. It wouldn't hurt to have a speed sign that tells you you're speeding, but we gotta get something to stop. And I think the solution is that solar-powered thing that is on the McClellan Highway, that type of system. I think we could probably afford that, and it'd probably be a lot easier than putting an actual pedestrian stop. But the answer is either that or a pedestrian stop button, because it's just not safe. And we've been lucky up to now that nobody's been killed over there, so let's not tempt fate. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. All right, are there any? Yes, is this pertaining to the senior center?
My name is Anthony Cantino, and I live at 240 Suffolk Avenue, Revere. Now, I see in Lynn.
This is not Lynn.
It's something new. On a crosswalk, no sooner an individual reaches the sidewalk where this crosswalk appears, okay, that there are flashing red lights. As soon as the individual stands as soon as he's prepared to walk across the street. Right on Western Ave, they have flashing red lights up until that individual is safely across the street. They automatically go on Western Ave, okay?
Okay.
You know, automobiles are here to stay. In 3 or 4 years, you're gonna have autonomous automobiles that all you have to do is take your phone out and tell the car where to go, and it goes there, no driving, okay? Now, I understand. You can't make both sides happy, okay? But there is a way where in Lynn, right on Western Ave, you have flashing red lights when the individual steps right on the sidewalk and stands there, and the cars stop, period.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We agree on something. Members of the commission, is there any motions?
Well, there's a number of traffic control devices that can be used. there.
We're gonna have to select something accordingly
Yeah, we're
with
gonna have to
the
find the appropriate device that
senior center.
really stops vehicles when somebody's coming.
So, motion to approve with the input, making some type of agreement as to what actually gets put into this?
And I know this is expensive. I get it. I know. I work for the city. I'm with you guys. I would be willing to go half of my budget, out of my budget with the city
Okay.
to make this happen because
you very much.
it's that important to them.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll work together and get something sorted out.
What's wrong with the idea of putting, at least for now, using those portable speed humps we have down at DPW?
This portable speed hump?
Or bump? You have those, right?
Yeah, the plan was to put them in a different location, but, the portable ones, the ones that we were talking about for Crescent. Would you mind if those get put over there? Just for the time being until we can come up with a different solution?
How much are they?
No, this is something
No,
we
I'm
already
asking you,
purchased.
do you know how much they are?
I believe it cost, I think they were around 3,000.
How about if I take it out of my CIT money and we can keep it at Crescent Ave, because those people want it at Crescent Ave. And then I'll take out $6,000 of my CIT money, because it's my ward. And we'll give it to the senior citizens.
Well, I was
How's
trying
that?
to, this was just like a temporary thing. I do want to move forward with the signage and the stop for the flashing light, for pedestrians. So let's stay with that route then, because these are measured for specific areas. These were measured out for Crescent Ave. I don't know what the distance is between that actual road, so it might be a little weird. So let's just keep with our original route, okay? All right, motion to approve or deny?
We don't know what we're approving at this point. We're
So-
approving a traffic control device at that
Some type of
location.
traffic control device agreed upon between the Department of Public Works and the senior center to be installed at that location by means of some type of automated system that will stop cars or make cars aware that a person is crossing in the crosswalk.
Yeah, let's review, because there are a number of them, the one that's appropriate.
You want
for
something
this
specifically set in
location.
stone before we say
Yeah.
yes? Okay.
So, if I might.
Yeah.
So approve whatever you decide on what type of device you're gonna put on, but we are gonna put a device, that's the bottom line.
Just to approve a traffic control device at that location.
That's you deem
Yeah.
appropriate,
Yeah.
yeah, great,
Okay.
thank you.
Second that motion.
Second? All right. Yep.
The speed tables, Do we have, I know there are speed tables with cameras on them, and they take, if it says 25 miles an hour and you're going 40, they take a picture of your license plate. That would be, excuse me?
That's not legal in Massachusetts yet.
Oh, it's not?
No, not yet.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay. Soon, maybe, but not at this moment. So we have to have a second, so that motion is approved to put measures, traffic calming measures at the 25 Winthrop Ave location, once agreed upon. Is there a specific wording you'd like to have in there? Is that fair enough?
Well, let's cover ourselves and have a traffic control signal there.
For pedestrian
Yeah.
crossing. Traffic control system for pedestrian crossing. Okay. Perfect. Motion is approved. All right, now we're back off to requests. Request to install a speed table and/or the other traffic calming measures placed on both Proctor Ave and one near the fire hydrant at 36 Elmwood Ave. Is there anyone to speak on that matter? Is there anyone here for the speed table and or other traffic calming measures at Proctor and Elmwood Ave? I don't know exactly who it was.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
I'll make a motion to table until such time that there is someone here to speak on this.
Okay.
So that we can have some background as to the request.
Okay, request is tabled. Item number 2, amend Schedule 5 of Title 10, one-way streets by adding Essex Street northernly from Park Ave to Mountain Ave. Counselor?
Thank you, Paul Agenzio, 245 Reservoir Avenue, Ward 4 City Councilor. Just to get back to that first request, I didn't put that in, so I don't know who requested it. Laurie, I don't know. It is my ward, but I don't know who.
For number 1?
Yes,
Yes.
That was from last one,
okay.
and it was sent into public hearing.
No.
Request number 1?
Number 1. The request or the public hearing?
Just who submitted it?
The request?
For Proctor and Elmwood?
I think that Ashley sent that to me.
Okay. So I can do some research on that, and then if you do table it, I'll.
Perfect.
Okay, and I can. As far as number 2 goes, several residents from Essex Street approached me. We've had some success recently creating one-way streets off Park Avenue. Hancock Street, one-way going northerly, and Cambridge Street, one-way coming southerly. It's worked out well. There was a traffic study done a few years ago that suggested all these streets be one way or another. So this would just be continuing on in that vein. And if we could move this to a public hearing, there are several residents that will come up and speak.
Mr. Chair, we looked at that area, and it was recommended at the time that Essex Street be one of the streets to be one-way in a northerly direction to Mountain Avenue. So this is in line with what was being proposed for the area, and I'd make a motion to send it to public hearing.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Item number 2 has been moved to a public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Request number 3, to install speed tables and/or other traffic calming measures placed in the vicinity of 74 Yeaman Street and 130 Prospect Ave.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Paul Agenzio. Ward 4 City Councilor. I did receive requests from residents on both streets. I sent an email to Mr. Rystrom at some point, if he could look into the, maybe he has, into the feasibility of putting them there. Does it interrupt infrastructure or anything? I would prefer the word speed hump. I know speed tables, they go curb to curb and disrupt the drainage. Speed humps come off the curbs a little bit and don't have that effect on drainage. I don't know if he's had a chance, Mr. Rice, if you've had a chance, but if you haven't, that's fine. Yeaman Street, this would be one-way street as you approach Park Avenue, where the Hill School is, and 130 Prospect Ave. A lot of speeding happens there as people come down the hill at a aggressive rate of speed. So if we could move that to a public hearing, and some residents will come up and speak. Thank you.
All right. Any comments from the commission?
Again, I think we have to look at evaluating a specific location for these.
Yep, agreed.
And once that is undertaken, we can
Would you
send
like
it to a public hearing.
Would you like to do a proper speed study to see if this is an adequate location, if there's actually speeding going on?
I expect that's the proper process and
Yep.
protocol, that we do that first.
Okay. All right, so we'll add this to the list to have a proper speed study done to see if there's an ongoing speeding issue in this location.
Thank you. I'm just curious, who conducts the speed studies?
It's between traffic. Julia has a hand in it. She sent me a couple of last reports.
Okay, so
Julia
you
tomorrow.
put the
Yep.
machine by and see what the speed is?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I'm agreeable to that.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, request number 4, amend Schedule 8 of Title 10, parking restrictions, generally by adding Beach Street, northerly Kimball Ave, North Shore Road. Does anyone know what the actual request is there?
I can tell you that.
Oh, Counselor, thank
I
you.
can, it's written incorrectly.
Okay.
Right now, at this location, it's at Flaherty Park at the corner of Beach Street and North Shore Road, a little park there.
Yep.
There was a bus stop there.
Yep,
The MBTA eliminated the bus stop.
okay.
So I want to allow parking between Kimball Ave and North Shore Road on the north side. So I'm not,
Okay,
I'm
understood.
not adding a restriction, I'm lifting a restriction, actually. Because
Okay.
right now, it's a bus stop, so there's no parking.
And the bus stop has definitely been, it's been
definitely been
removed?
eliminated.
Did they relocate it up, further up
Yeah,
Beach?
well, they have one down by Bob's Auto Body, by the parking lot, and
Yep.
they telling people to use the one at Nahant Ave.
Okay. Now, I did look, after I asked Lori, I don't believe there is a parking restriction in that location at the moment, so I don't think we would have to change anything on the, as far as the
Do we have
ordinance
bus
goes.
stops on our ordinance?
Yeah, but the bus stop has been moved, right?
Yeah, but it's still in the books as a bus stop being there, so the bus
Oh,
stop
okay.
has
My
to be
apologies.
removed to allow parking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once the bus stop is removed from our city ordinance, okay, all set. Doesn't sound like an
Yeah,
issue.
no.
Perfect. So
We
that's
need a
resolved?
Public hearing on that, right?
No,
No?
no,
Oh,
no
okay.
public hearing.
So, because I did it.
That's just making a correction on the, as far as where the bus stops are located. If it's removed,
Okay.
then it should also be removed.
Because I
from
did
the
ask for some
ordinance.
signage to put there that we had a little issue with on description of where it's going, no parking here, a corner on either end of that. But there's a fire hydrant, at the corner of North Shore Road, on Beach Street at North Shore Road.
Okay,
So that has to be 10 feet, so I had asked for signs to be put in to allow, keep them away from the corners, so the fire department can make the turns.
okay. All right,
We-
If you don't
Billy
mind, let
knows
me-
about it.
okay.
So, but there was an issue with it, so we can talk about it.
Well, there should be no parking from corner. It's 15 feet anyway, regardless. 20,
It's
sorry.
actually 20, yeah. But we want to make sure there's signs there so that people know. Because otherwise, the parking office will tag them whether it's a sign or not. So we're
Okay.
going to let the people know what's going on.
All right,
I appreciate it, thank you.
thank you.
Zach Babo, Director of Parking, 300 Broadway. So this area of Beach Street, I'm a proponent of, I think it's already been amended when the bus stops, when I think the MBTA was here, as requesting for a couple stop changes. I'm pretty sure that it went through a public hearing and was approved. So this should already have been amended. If not, then I would think just a change in what was requested tonight, just to remove the bus stop language from that ordinance. But to talk on the restrictions of this area, up until Kimball Ave, Nahant, it's 24-hour residential. So we would have to put up signs in place of where this bus stop was, letting them know it's 24-hour residential parking. And I'm not sure if there's still markings on the ground that were highlighting where the bus stop was to allow, usually they paint big squares to show where the bus stop pulls in. I can see if that's not removed or grounded out, how that can be confusing, now putting this as a parking location. So I would just ask that maybe we look into that, and if we need to grind out some lines that were painted there prior by the MBTA, do that. In regards to the 20 feet of an intersection, which is an MGL law, allows us to tag no parking here to corner. In our experience, when there's no sign up there to tell you where the 20-foot mark really is located, appeals come in, and in our pictures or violations, we're not taking pictures with tape measures. So we don't necessarily show that they are within that 20-foot mark. Depending on their photographed, those could end up in dismissals. So usually throughout the community, when we do have corners we're trying to protect, we post signs up to let them know transparently this is the final marking. In regards to fire hydrant markings, I don't know if the city is interested in adding additional signs throughout the community, as we do have a lot of signs, especially in this side of the city. Something we kicked around, and I'm not sure of the feasibility behind, but maybe painting some red lines on the curbing, 10 feet each way, that would really mark out the area we're trying to protect, and it would allow to be photographed in our photos of a violation, just to show that they were infringing on that mark. Like I said, when they're not marked with signs, paints, things of that nature, we don't have tape measures a part of our photo, so it allows people to kind of make excuses and make a mess through the appeals. It's not as transparent.
That's the same pavement markings we have on Pleasant Street with a hydrant there next to our City Hall parking lot.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's a good job. Everybody stays outside those lines when they park there.
Okay, I have had some complaints with residents on like this seems fine in this area, but further down in the residential areas, it is a larger span that people don't understand you're not supposed to park in front of than they currently do. So just so you know, there has been some pushback on, I presented marking off those lines before, and it
So we talked about
didn't go
this
over too well.
a couple of years ago, before yourself, about using kind of the high school the summer interns and that apply for their summer work through the DPW. Maybe utilizing them in the summer. We've highlighted 25 locations that we constantly have issues with enforcing, and we know these fire hydrants are really always pretty much infringed upon. Again, ticket after ticket, it's not always fixing the problem. Visuals help a lot of the time with these. We've made a difference. You can see a difference right out here in City Hall. Some of the areas in the east side of the community, some of the condensed streets, we do have to find a little wiggle room. We understand the ordinance is 10 feet, but some of these roadways don't have that, and, it's very tough. So we try to kick around painting them. It's clearly there. You can see it when you get out the car. You get out on your driver's side, you can see the markings on the ground.
Okay. Well, I have no issue with the 20-foot signs on the corners. We'll start there. And let me contact MBTA and see if there's any pre-existing lines on that block, because if that's the case, those need to be removed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Do we have any motion from the council? From the committee, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, where this area where the bus stop used to be,
Yep.
where the request is to allow parking there?
To allow parking in the previous bus stop.
Okay, but not close to the hydrant, not close to the curb?
Correct.
To the corner, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we're actually, what am I saying? I think we're all set. I don't think there's any motion or anything.
Motion to send it to a public hearing. No, we have to send it to a public hearing, right?
Why? The bus stop's already been removed.
Was it already designated for parking? We're redesignated it for
If
parking.
if we're just cleaning up the books and removing the bus stop, removing the ordinance, I think the only thing that would have to go in front of it is the 24-hour resident parking. Is that right, what you said, Zach?
Parking is allowed there, it just wasn't because it was a bus stop?
That's my understanding.
Okay,
Yes.
So if the bus stop is officially removed, then a
Parking would be
is now
back allowed in that spot.
You're right, it's a 24-hour.
Okay.
All right. Amendment to add this area to the rest of the pre-existing parking restrictions on beach. Okay. Is there a motion to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Okay. Request number 5, install a crosswalk on Sergeant Street at the Paws and Dog Play Park, which is located at 68 Sergeant Street. Counselor?
Good afternoon again. Cristiano, Worcester's counselor. As far as the bus stop, let's go back a step. That was approved a couple of years ago when the T was before us. We have to go into the ordinance for bus stops by bus route and remove it off each route that stopped at the bus stop over there. There's no specific ordinance for that one bus stop number.
It's the
By route number. So every bus that went to that bus stop has it listed on it. So we have to figure out what route that was, who used it, and remove them one by one for that.
Okay.
As far as the dog park goes, I guess this came before you last year or during COVID or sometime, my council before me, it was approved to put a crosswalk in, from what I understand, and it hasn't been installed, so I'm just wondering if we could put it back up again
Okay.
and do a public hearing on it next month.
All right. Well, I have no issue with this. Motion to move to a public hearing?
Motion.
All right, move to public hearing. Request number 6, request for traffic calming measures either through more signage or speed bumps for the following locations: Lantern Road between Squire Road and Rumney Road, Charger Street between Grover Street and Squire Road, Sigourney Street between Malden Street and Squire Road, Derby Road between Squire Road and Grover Street, Malden Street between Newman Street and Washington Ave. Counselor?
Good afternoon again, Cristiano, Council Ward 6.
Good afternoon.
The city's fortunate. We have these wonderful speed signs. It gives us all kinds of data. I have pages of data here, but I was kind enough to summarize it all. So we have a summary of Lanton Road, Charger, Sigourney, and Derby, telling me how many cars are using it. And from what I'm seeing here, we have a volume problem. According to the summary, we have, in a typical week, any given week, Lanton Road sees 12,200 cars, random week. Charger Street seeing 12,300 cars, random week. Sigourney Street, random week, 24,000 cars. Hold on. Derby Road, 11,000 on here. Or 1,100. As far as the speeding goes, it's not showing speed to be the real problem here, it's the volume of cars. So I'm looking for, we had the survey done, the the study done a couple of years ago, last year, nothing was done after it was completed. So if nothing else, I spoke to the residents over Lanton Road, Charger Street, Sigourney, Derby, and even Augusta Street. I'm looking for better signage in the area. Lanton Road has a problem with cars on a one-way street. They're coming down Steeple, continuing straight down Square Road. No, look at do it at the signs, straight down. The speed limit signs, they're non-existent. If we could even post 25 signs up there, a couple of signs on the street, and go from there with it. As far as Sigourney, Augustus, Derby, and even Ashley Avenue, I'd like to look into it a little deeper and see if anything we can do as far as speed tables, Charger Street speed tables. I'd like to see what happens first over the winter time with the ones we currently have, and how it affects the plowing and what have you, before we go jump into putting them on all the side streets. But let's consider it.
Do you have that old report that was done, the study? Maybe
The mayor has his office downstairs.
okay.
That was done back in, this is 2022, the fall of 2022,
Okay.
summertime into the fall. And they changed the streets around, but there is a study that they did do. There were some requests that were made, some recommendations they made. Some of them are off the wall. They wanted to offset the parking on the streets and put curbing out and what have you. But I believe there's other avenues. If we get together on it and discuss it, we could probably figure out ways to just move the traffic around.
Okay.
It even goes as far as the truck route, you know. Next month, request the truck route for over there. But do the truck route, and I request it. No trucks on Charger, Sigourney, all the side streets. Put the route down. Truck route, we Malden Street to Broadway to 107, down to Route 60, Squire Road. Trucks going westbound, Washington Avenue, Linden Square, Route 60, back up to Route 1 again.
Okay.
So we give them a truck route, we give them our plan on doing it, and at least we do some of it. If not, it says, all trucks, heavy trucks.
All right. Would you have any objection to maybe allowing the commission to look into that report, and in the meantime?
This is a request for public hearing,
Okay.
and look into it, come back next month again, get some recommendations on it, and then whatever we have from there, put it to the hearing then.
Okay.
And there's one more thing, as far as the crosswalk signage, the company we bought the speed signs off of, the flashy ones, they also have the crosswalk signage, and the solar power ones. They're already a vendor for the city, and it's a matter of calling them for a price on it to get an idea what's available. I know there's different sizes they have available, because before I retired, I looked into the crosswalks. Prices have gone up since then on the signage and the crosswalks. But I'll give you an idea what you're looking at just to get them, and they get a price on installing them in the area, so what we're talking about for next time, all right?
Okay. All right, well, definitely look into the crosswalk signs. I'll get that name from you, the company from you, so we can move forward with that for the senior center. But,
Dog pack,
what's that?
dog pack.
All right. Any motion from the commission? What would you guys like to do with this? It's a large area to just, I think we should look at that report, and maybe we can come up with some type of, we need some type of idea how to move forward with this. I don't know what we would be sending to public hearing exactly.
Right now,
I
it's
think you
not,
could look at any one of these streets and they're warranted for a speed bump. You know, given the amount of traffic and
Yeah, it does
speeding
seem
that
like a
goes
lot of
down to
traffic.
Squire Road, especially Charger
I
Street
believe,
and Sigourney
I
Street.
agree with the counselor that we should post the speed limits at a minimum on
so
some of these
most of the
roads.
stuff here, I'm not looking for regulation change, I'm not looking to change Title 10. We're looking to add safety measures to it. So as far as the public hearing, that would be for if the neighbors want to come up and speak about it.
Okay.
They would know, listen, in October or in November, we're having a meeting is open to the residents for their ideas. All right?
Okay.
That could be as easy as, you know, slow children signs, or the speed tables, putting in more speed limit signs and what have you. You know, no regulation signs at this time.
Commission, what do you guys think?
So you're requesting that neighborhood comes up to the traffic commission and
Gives recommendations.
presents their
If we,
recommendations, rather than,
we can get together if you want, figure it out.
that's,
If not, put a
Yeah.
public hearing for the residents to come up here to decide what they want to do with their neighborhood and their streets. Individually.
Counselor, would you mind if the two of us work together and see if we can figure something out that works for this neighborhood?
That would work.
Okay. All right, let's do that.
Thank you.
We'll table it for the time being, and if we can come to some type of agreement before the next hearing, we can squash the whole thing.
This could take more than 1 month. It could be
Yeah.
2 or 3 months to figure this out. It's not an overnight fix. It's
Understood,
been going on for, 30, 40 years now.
understood. Thank you. All right, so motion to table this matter until we can come to some type of agreement?
no further business, I make a motion to adjourn.
Sure. Hello?
Hello, my name is Christine Robertson. I reside at 187 Charter Street. Good evening, Commissioners, and thank you for listening. For many months, I have come before this commission regarding different traffic issues regarding Charter Street and the surrounding streets of Ward 6. We are inundated with traffic daily with every type, size, shape of vehicle on the road. Trucks, buses, delivery trucks, 18-wheelers, tow trucks, construction equipment, and whatever rolls by on 2 or 4 wheels. As stated many times before, we are one of the throughways to Northgate Shopping Center as well as the commercial end of Charger Street. There are 2 no truck signs posted, one at the corner of Malden Street and Charger, and then again on the corner of Rumney Road and Charger. There is total disregard for these signs, and it's getting worse by the day. I have stood before this commission multiple times to ask for help with enforcement of these signs, as well as to help with the speeding on Charger Street. The traffic is never ending, and we need help. Please approve the request and make it a priority for a speed table to be placed on Charger Street between Grover Street and Squire Road, perhaps close to the intersection, to help slow the speeding vehicles trying to beat the signal light at the Squire Road intersection. Thank you for listening and for your consideration. It's appreciated.
Thank you. All right.
Now I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Meeting adjourned.